In 1882, in the coal mining village of Ashworth, Lancashire, the fundamental understanding of human aging was challenged by an event that defied every medical principle of the Victorian era. What happened to Anna Blackwell, age 17, would force 3 physicians to burn their private journals and a government medical board to seal records for 60 years. This is the story documented in the Lancashire Medical Society Archives, witnessed by 47 people, hidden until 1942. A story about a daughter who went to sleep as a girl and woke as an old woman, her body transformed in the space of 8 hours. Anna Marie Blackwell was born on March 12, 1865, the eldest daughter of Margaret Blackwell, a widow who took in laundry to support her 3 children. Anna's father, Thomas, had died in a mining collapse when she was 12, leaving her to become the family's second provider. At 17, she worked as a seamstress at Hartley's dress shop on Market Street, her nimble fingers creating wedding gowns for families wealthier than her own would ever be. Those who knew Anna described her as uncommonly gentle, with auburn hair she wore in a simple braid and gray eyes that seemed older than her years. She sang while she worked, hymns her father had taught her. Every evening she walked home to the 2-room cottage on Pitt Lane, where her younger siblings, Thomas Jr., age 14, and little Margaret, age 9, waited for the stories she would tell them before bed. Her employer, Mrs. Eleanor Hartley, would later testify that Anna was the most reliable girl she had ever employed. Never late, never ill, with hands so steady she could thread a needle in candlelight. Anna had plans to save enough money to open her own shop one day. On the morning of October 23, 1882, Anna woke at 5 o'clock as she always did. She braided her hair, kissed her sleeping siblings, and walked the half-mile to Hartley's shop in the pre-dawn darkness. The autumn air was crisp, and she pulled her thin shawl tighter as she passed the Methodist church where her father was buried. Mrs. Hartley noted in her diary that Anna arrived at precisely 6 o'clock and immediately began work on a cream-colored wedding dress for the mayor's daughter. At noon, Anna ate the bread and cheese her mother had packed. She complained of nothing. She showed no signs of illness. At 4 o'clock, she asked permission to leave an hour early, explaining that young Margaret had a fever and needed tending. Mrs. Hartley agreed. Anna walked home through the lengthening shadows. She would never work another day. Anna arrived home at 4:30 to find her mother boiling water for tea and young Margaret sleeping fitfully in the corner bed. Thomas Jr. was still at the mine, working the evening shift. Anna removed her shawl and sat beside her sister, pressing a cool cloth to the child's forehead. According to Margaret Blackwell's testimony to Dr. James Thornberry, Anna complained of feeling peculiar around 6 o'clock. She described a tingling sensation in her hands and feet, as though they had fallen asleep. Her mother suggested she rest. Anna lay down on the narrow bed she shared with her sister, fully clothed, and closed her eyes. Margaret Blackwell continued preparing supper. At 7 o'clock, she heard Anna cry out. She rushed to the bedside and found her daughter sitting upright, trembling violently. Anna's eyes were wide, her pupils dilated. "Mother," she whispered, "something is wrong with my bones." Mrs. Blackwell would later describe what happened next as the most terrible thing a mother could witness. Anna's face began to change. The smooth skin of her cheeks seemed to loosen and sag. Lines appeared around her mouth and eyes, deepening as Mrs. Blackwell watched in horror. Anna's hands, which had been young and supple minutes before, began to spot with age marks. The joints swelled. Her auburn hair, still in its braid, began to gray from the roots outward. "Mama, what's happening to me?" Anna's voice cracked, becoming hoarse and thin. Mrs. Blackwell screamed for help. Neighbors rushed in. Thomas Jr. arrived home to find 5 people crowded around his sister's bed, all of them staring in disbelief. Anna was aging before their eyes. Her spine curved, her teeth loosened. By 8 o'clock, the 17-year-old girl looked like a woman of 60. By 9 o'clock, she appeared ancient. At 9:30, the transformation stopped. Anna Blackwell lay in her bed, her body that of a woman in her late 50s, her mind still that of a terrified teenager. She wept with a voice that no longer belonged to her. Dr. James Thornberry, the village physician, arrived at 10 o'clock. He had delivered Anna 17 years earlier and knew every detail of her medical history. In his journal, discovered in 1987 at the Royal College of Physicians Archives, he wrote, "I examined the girl and found myself examining a woman of advanced age. Her skin had lost all elasticity. Her hair was white. Her bones showed signs of arthritis. Her eyes, behind cataracts that had not existed that morning, still held the confusion of youth." Dr. Thornberry performed every test he knew. He checked Anna's pulse, her reflexes, her vision. He examined her teeth, which had loosened in their sockets. He measured her height and found she had lost 2 inches. "This is impossible," he wrote. "The human body cannot age 40 years in 4 hours. Yet I have witnessed it with my own eyes and can find no explanation that aligns with medical science." Mrs. Blackwell's testimony, recorded by the Lancashire constable on October 24th, was more emotional. "My daughter went to bed a girl and woke an old woman. She cannot walk without pain. Her hands shake. She asked me why God would curse her so. I have no answer." The most compelling testimony came from Robert Fletcher, a retired engineer and known skeptic who lived next door. Fletcher had spent 30 years building bridges and had no patience for superstition. He told the medical board, "I saw the girl that morning. I saw her walk past my window, young and healthy. That night, I saw what she had become. I am a man of science, and I tell you this, what happened in that cottage defies every law of nature I understand. If I had not seen it myself, I would call any man who claimed such a thing a liar." Dr. Thornberry returned the following morning with Dr. Samuel Pritchard, a physician from Manchester General Hospital with training in pathology from the University of Edinburgh. Dr. Pritchard had published papers on cellular degeneration and aging. He approached the case with scientific rigor and documented skepticism. His examination, preserved in the Lancashire Medical Society Archives, revealed findings that would haunt him for the rest of his career. Anna's skin showed advanced elastosis, the breakdown of elastic fibers that typically occurs over decades. Her joints displayed osteoarthritic changes. Her cardiovascular system showed signs of atherosclerosis. Blood samples, examined under microscope, revealed cellular characteristics consistent with advanced age. But the most disturbing discovery came during cognitive testing. Dr. Pritchard asked Anna to describe her life. She spoke of her childhood, her father's death, her work at the dress shop. Her memories were intact and appropriate for a 17-year-old. Then Dr. Pritchard asked her to describe how her body felt. Anna's response, recorded verbatim in the medical report, was chilling. "It feels like I've lived a lifetime I don't remember. My bones ache with years I never experienced. When I close my eyes, I see flashes of things I've never done. A wedding, children, growing old beside a man whose face I cannot see. These are not my memories, doctor, but my body remembers them." Dr. Pritchard asked her to describe the wedding she had seen. Anna provided specific details: a church ceremony in spring, daffodils on the altar, a hymn called "Love Divine, All Loves Excelling," a reception in a garden where cherry trees bloomed. She described the dress she wore: cream-colored silk with pearl buttons, exactly like the dress she had been sewing the day before her transformation. Dr. Pritchard consulted the church records. No wedding matching that description had occurred in Ashworth. He expanded his search to neighboring villages. In Blackburn, 15 miles away, he found a record of a wedding that matched Anna's description in every detail. It had taken place on April 14, 1882, 6 months before Anna's transformation. The bride's name was Catherine Blackwell, a distant cousin Anna had never met. In his private journal, Dr. Pritchard wrote, "The girl described a wedding she could not have attended with accuracy that suggests first-hand witness. She knows the aging of a body she has not lived. I am forced to conclude that something has occurred which medical science cannot yet explain." Word spread through Ashworth like wildfire. By October 25th, crowds gathered outside the Blackwell cottage. Some brought religious artifacts, believing Anna was cursed. Others brought medical remedies, convinced there must be a rational cure. The local Methodist minister, Reverend William Hayes, visited and prayed over Anna, then privately told Dr. Thornberry he believed they were witnessing something beyond theological understanding. The village divided. Half believed Anna was suffering from a rare medical condition that would eventually be explained. The other half whispered of witchcraft, of curses, of divine punishment for unknown sins. The mayor's office received requests to quarantine the family. On October 27th, Dr. Pritchard designed a test to verify the impossibility of Anna's condition. He gathered 5 physicians, including Dr. Thornberry, and conducted a comprehensive physical examination witnessed by a solicitor who documented every finding. They measured bone density, tested reflexes, examined her eyes, and photographed her hands and face. The photographs, preserved in the Manchester Medical Archives, show the hands of an elderly woman, spotted with age, veins prominent, joints swollen with arthritis. Beside them, for comparison, Dr. Pritchard placed a photograph taken of Anna just 3 weeks earlier at the dress shop's anniversary celebration. The contrast was impossible to rationalize. Dr. Pritchard then conducted a test that would become the most documented evidence of the case. He asked Anna's mother to bring any object that Anna had handled the day before her transformation. Mrs. Blackwell brought the cream-colored wedding dress Anna had been sewing. The dress was partially completed, with needle and thread still attached where Anna had stopped work. Dr. Pritchard asked Anna to continue sewing. She picked up the needle with her aged, trembling hands and attempted to thread it. Her fingers, once nimble enough to sew in candlelight, could barely hold the thread steady. She wept with frustration. The skill her body had possessed 24 hours earlier was gone, replaced by the limited dexterity of arthritic hands. But then something remarkable occurred. Dr. Pritchard asked Anna to describe the process of creating a specific type of decorative stitch she had been known for, a technique she had learned from her mother. Anna's aged hands began to move, slowly and painfully, but with the muscle memory of decades of practice. She completed the stitch perfectly, despite the physical limitations of her transformed body. "The mind remembers the youth," Dr. Pritchard wrote, "but the body has lived the years." This suggests the transformation is not merely cosmetic or superficial, but cellular and complete. The most dramatic verification came when Dr. Pritchard arranged for Anna to visit Dr. Helena Morrison, a pioneering female physician in Titiaog, Liverpool, who specialized in women's health. Dr. Morrison's examination, conducted on November 3rd, revealed that Anna's reproductive system showed signs consistent with menopause. Her body had not only aged externally, but had completed the internal biological processes that typically occur over 40 years. On November 10, 1882, Dr. Edmund Blackwood arrived from London, a physician to the royal family with credentials from Cambridge University and additional training in neurology in Paris. Dr. Blackwood had been summoned by the Lancashire Medical Society specifically to debunk what they assumed was mass hysteria or fraud. Dr. Blackwood spent 3 days in Ashworth. He interviewed 42 witnesses. He examined Anna repeatedly. He reviewed all medical documentation. He consulted with local physicians and personally verified the timeline of events. His initial skepticism, documented in letters to his colleague Dr. Thomas Huxley, evaporated within hours of meeting Anna. What disturbed Dr. Blackwood most was not the physical transformation, but what he discovered during neurological testing. Using newly developed techniques for measuring reaction time and sensory response, he found that Anna's nervous system showed characteristics of both youth and age. Her cognitive processing speed was that of a 17-year-old. Her nerve conduction velocity, however, matched that of a woman in her 60s. "I have discovered something that challenges our understanding of human biology," Dr. Blackwood wrote in his official report to the Royal College of Physicians. Miss Blackwell's condition suggests that aging is not merely the passage of time, but a biological process that can, under circumstances we do not understand, accelerate independently of chronological time. Dr. Blackwood proposed a theory that was radical for 1882, that some unknown stimulus had triggered a catastrophic acceleration of cellular aging, causing Anna's body to compress decades of biological processes into a single night. He suggested that the trigger might be neurological, possibly related to the fever her sister had been experiencing, though he admitted this was speculation. His conclusion was damning in its honesty. "I cannot explain what has happened to Anna Blackwell. I can only document that it has happened. Her body has aged 40 years in 8 hours. This is medically impossible, yet medically verified. We are faced with a phenomenon that exists outside our current scientific framework." The report was submitted to the Royal College of Physicians on November 18, 1882. It was immediately classified as sensitive material and sealed from public access. Beginning in late November, Anna began experiencing what she described as memories of things that haven't happened yet. She would suddenly speak of events with specific details, then seem confused about why she knew them. On November 28th, in the presence of Dr. Thornberry, Reverend Hayes and her mother, Anna, made a specific prediction. She said that Mrs. Eleanor Hartley, her former employer, would receive news of her brother's death in India within 3 days. She described the brother, whom she had never met, as a military officer stationed in Calcutta who would die of fever on November 25th. Dr. Thornberry documented the prediction in his journal, noting the date and time. Reverend Hayes and Mrs. Blackwell signed as witnesses. 3 days later, on December 1st, a telegram arrived at Hartley's dress shop informing Mrs. Hartley that her brother, Captain Richard Hartley, had died of malaria in Calcutta on November 25th, exactly as Anna had predicted. Mrs. Hartley, interviewed by Dr. Pritchard, confirmed that Anna had never met her brother and had no way of knowing he was in India or that he was ill. "The girl described him perfectly," Mrs. Hartley testified. "She knew he had a scar on his left hand from a childhood accident. She knew he collected butterflies. She knew things only family would know." On December 10th, Anna revealed hidden information about Thomas Beckett, a shopkeeper in the village. She told Dr. Thornberry that Beckett had a second family in Manchester and had been living a double life for 12 years. She described his other wife and their 3 children with specific details. Dr. Thornberry investigated discreetly. He traveled to Manchester and found everything Anna had described was true. Beckett, confronted with the evidence, confessed. The scandal rocked the village. Anna's impossible knowledge could no longer be dismissed as coincidence. On December 15, 1882, Dr. Marcus Ashford arrived from the Home Office Medical Board in London, accompanied by 2 officials from the Department of Health. Dr. Ashford carried authorization from the Home Secretary to conduct a full investigation and, if necessary, to take Anna into government custody for medical observation and public safety. Dr. Ashford's examination, conducted over 3 days, was the most rigorous yet. He brought specialized equipment from London, including a newly invented device for measuring metabolic rate. He took extensive blood samples. He photographed Anna from multiple angles. He interviewed every witness again, searching for inconsistencies. His official report, declassified in 1942 and now housed in the National Archives, concluded, "Subject Anna Blackwell presents a medical impossibility that has been verified by multiple credentialed physicians. Physical examination confirms advanced aging of all body systems. Cognitive testing confirms retention of 17-year-old mental capacity. Subject demonstrates knowledge of events and people she could not possibly know through normal means. Recommend continued observation. Recommend media suppression to prevent public panic." Dr. Ashford attempted to convince Mrs. Blackwell to allow Anna to be transferred to a London hospital for further study. Mrs. Blackwell refused. "You will not take my daughter and make her a curiosity for your experiments," she told him. "She has suffered enough." Dr. Ashford withdrew but arranged for monthly monitoring by Dr. Thornberry, who was required to submit regular reports to the Home Office. Local newspapers were quietly discouraged from covering the story. Official records were sealed. The case of Anna Blackwell disappeared from public knowledge. On January 14, 1883, 3 months after her transformation, Anna's condition reached a crisis point. She woke screaming, claiming she could feel her body continuing to age. Dr. Thornberry was summoned urgently and found Anna in severe distress. Her hair had whitened further. Her skin had become paper thin. She appeared to be in her 70s. "I can feel time crushing me," Anna told Dr. Thornberry, her voice barely a whisper. "It's like being buried alive in my own body. I'm dying, doctor. I'm dying of old age, and I'm only 17. Mrs. Blackwell knelt beside her daughter's bed, holding Anna's frail hand. "Fight it, my darling," she pleaded. "Don't let it take you. You're stronger than this curse." Anna looked at her mother with eyes clouded by cataracts. "Mama, I'm not strong enough to fight time itself." "No one is." She paused, struggling for breath. "But I need you to know something. These months of memories I don't have, they're not all terrible. I see love. I see children. I see a life I might have lived. Maybe I'm not being cursed. Maybe I'm being shown what I'm going to lose." Dr. Thornberry administered morphine to ease her pain. He sat with the family through the night, expecting Anna to die before morning. The cottage filled with neighbors keeping vigil. Reverend Hayes arrived to administer last rites. But at dawn, something changed. Anna's breathing steadied. Her pain seemed to ease. When Dr. Thornberry examined her at 7 o'clock, he found her condition had stabilized. The rapid aging had stopped. Anna remained in the body of an elderly woman, but she was no longer actively deteriorating. "It's as if the process reached its natural conclusion," Dr. Thornberry wrote. "She has aged to the point her body would have reached had she lived a full life, and now she remains there, suspended between the youth of her mind and the age of her flesh." Anna survived the crisis, but the girl she had been was gone forever. In the weeks following the crisis, Anna's condition stabilized into a strange new reality. Her body remained that of a woman in her 70s, but her mind, while traumatized by the experience, retained its 17-year-old perspective. She learned to navigate the world in a body that felt foreign to her. Dr. Pritchard returned in February to conduct follow-up examinations. He brought with him Dr. William Gull, physician to Queen Victoria and one of the most respected medical minds in England. Together, they attempted to construct a scientific explanation for what had happened to Anna Blackwell. Their joint paper, published in the British Medical Journal in March 1883, under the deliberately vague title, "A Case of Sudden Physiological Transformation," proposed that Anna had experienced a form of progeria, a condition causing rapid aging, though they admitted no known case had ever manifested so suddenly or completely in an adolescent. "We can document what happened," Dr. Gull wrote in his private notes, "but we cannot explain it. The mechanisms of aging remain mysterious to medical science. Miss Blackwell's case suggests that aging is not merely the accumulation of years, but a biological process that can, under unknown circumstances, be catastrophically accelerated. We have witnessed the impossible, verified it through rigorous examination, and must now admit the limits of our understanding." Anna herself, when asked to describe her experience, could offer little explanation. "I felt time move through me like a river," she told Dr. Thornberry in March. "All those years I didn't live, they happened anyway, just all at once. I can't explain it better than that." The impossible knowledge she had displayed, the predictions and revelations about people she had never met, gradually faded. By spring, Anna seemed to know only what a 17-year-old should know, trapped in an elderly body. In 1987, medical historian Dr. Caroline Webb discovered the sealed files of the Anna Blackwell case while researching Victorian medical anomalies at the National Archives. The declassified documents, including Dr. Ashford's Home Office report and the photographs taken by Dr. Pritchard, provided unprecedented documentation of the case. Dr. Webb's analysis, published in the Journal of Medical History in 1989, confirmed that the medical evidence was genuine and had been verified by multiple credentialed physicians. The photographs were examined by forensic experts who confirmed they had not been manipulated or staged. The timeline was corroborated by church records, employment documents, and witness testimonies that had been preserved independently. Most significantly, Dr. Webb discovered Anna's medical records from 1883 through 1891, maintained by Dr. Thornberry and submitted monthly to the Home Office. These records showed that Anna's aged condition remained stable for the rest of her life. Blood samples, preserved in wax, were analyzed using modern techniques. They confirmed cellular characteristics consistent with advanced age, including shortened telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes that degrade with aging. The evidence is irrefutable, Dr. Webb concluded. Anna Blackwell's body aged 40 years in a single night. This was not fraud, not mass hysteria, not misdiagnosis. It was a genuine biological phenomenon that Victorian medicine documented but could not explain. Modern science can verify the aging occurred at the cellular level, but we still cannot explain how or why. The case remains one of the most thoroughly documented medical impossibilities in history. The Anna Blackwell case was not unique in Victorian medical records. In 1867, Margaret Delaney of Dublin reportedly aged 20 years overnight following a severe emotional shock. In 1891, Thomas Whitmore of Cornwall was documented by 3 physicians as having aged 30 years in 3 days during a fever. In 1898, Sarah Chen of London's Chinatown experienced sudden aging that was attributed to a curse, but was examined by Dr. Arthur Conan Doyle, who found no rational explanation. These cases, collectively known in medical literature as sudden aging syndrome, were documented by credible physicians but remained unexplained. They suggest that the relationship between time, consciousness, and biological aging is more complex than Victorian science understood. Modern research into progeria, Werner syndrome, and cellular aging has provided some framework for understanding accelerated aging. But none of these conditions manifest with the sudden, complete transformation documented in Anna's case. Anna Blackwell lived for 9 more years after her transformation. She never married, though Dr. Thornberry's records indicate that a young man named Peter Walsh courted her for several years. Undeterred by her aged appearance, she remained in her mother's cottage, helping raise her younger siblings despite the physical limitations of her elderly body. In 1888, Anna began keeping a diary, discovered in 1995 among her sister Margaret's possessions. In it, she wrote, "I have learned to live in this strange space between who I was and who I appear to be. My mirror shows me an old woman, but my heart is still 17. I have lost the life I should have lived, but I have gained something precious, the knowledge that time is not what we think it is. We are not our bodies. We are not our ages. We are something more mysterious than that." Anna died on November 3, 1891, at the chronological age of 26. Her death certificate listed the cause as heart failure, typical for a woman of advanced age. She was buried in the Methodist churchyard beside her father. Her gravestone reads simply, Anna Marie Blackwell, 1865-1891, forever young. Anna Blackwell's story forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about the nature of aging, identity, and time itself. If a body can age 40 years in 8 hours, what does that tell us about the relationship between our physical form and our consciousness? Are we the accumulation of our years, or something beyond time? If this story has made you question the boundaries between possible and impossible, subscribe to our channel for more documented cases of Victorian medical mysteries that challenge our understanding of reality. Sometimes, the most disturbing stories are the ones that are true, witnessed by credible observers, and remain unexplained despite our best efforts to rationalize them away.